See why you shut in front like you was never in love. I forgive you for me, girl, you knew what it was. Baby, don't you tell me you don't love me. I'll fuck you once again, I'll make you fall back in love. Don't hate gangsta Texas, girl, you know I'm a thug. Baby, don't you tell me you don't love me. Now why the fuck would you go lie and tell them hoes you don't love me? Coming and dissing me like I was some sort of scrub. And when you play like that, you know you make me feel ugly. Bitch, I'm playing these streets, I need somebody to hug me. Oh, I get out of pocket when I'm sipping this mud. Come put that pussy on me like your nigga in trouble. I see this dick off in your hand, I tell you I love you. They say that shit back even if you lie when we fuck you. Love me. And when you lie, say you can't be love me. When I get it, then you really want you stuff. I'll never try to act like you want love. So why you try to fuck like niggas never in love? I forgive you for me, girl, you know what it was. Baby, don't you tell me you don't love me. I love you once again, I make you go back in love. All that gangsta Texas, girl, you know I'm a thug. Baby, don't you tell me you don't love me. Bitch, you know exactly what it was. I get disrespectful when I'm taking these drugs. She gon' take this dick and that shit off for a buzz. I run through a tunnel like I'm Harry Tubman.
Hold on, look. No, you gotta know what twisted up. I love because I do love you, girl. If I told you the truth all the time, then that means I don't care about you. I'm out in these streets telling these hoes the truth. I love you because I care about your feelings.
So this ain't with that nigga. I know you lying to me, bitch. I ain't tryna be slick. You wanna put a label on this, but I ain't tryna be shit. You think I'm super hoe? No, I know you lie to me, bitch. You never wanna be rich. You say you try to be loyal. You still lie to me, bitch. You try to leave me for that fuck boy. You thought he was rich. Now I'm laughing at you both since the economy switched. You know I passed all hoes. I never sweat for a bitch. Cause a hoe gon' be a hoe and you got clear on the wrist. I'ma slide the I-90 if I'm swerving and shit. And my feelings thinking you did this on purpose and shit. I know you lie to me, bitch. I'm still embarrassed by the shit that I would buy for this bitch. When I tried for you, bitch. Anytime that she would call, I would slide for this bitch. Caught you running out his condo, you were trying to be low. Here I am thinking you was trying to be more. Nigga gave you everything like I was signing this hoe. Put you in that high fashion, high design this hoe. Strong sliding them niggas. Why you lie to me though? Sit back and blaze the grab, crack the Casamigos. She really lied to me. She really lied to me. I used to kiss the lips to give them my position. That's bitch, got the bitch, my connection. I know you lie to me, bitch. He got a hand in his foot. I do him pottery, bitch. I'm about to slap that nigga's face. I'm about to powder my shit. Really in my feelings. I gotta get out of them shits. In my cell, I close my eyes and see her riding my dick. Now I close my eyes and I just see her lying with this nigga.
Game 4, Eastern Semifinals. The New York Knicks have their backs against the wall, down 3 games to none. Can the dream of defying history by doing what no team has done before drive them to victory? It's a
Uncle Daystar, I love you, and I'll see
round
you
2 of the
soon.
NBA playoffs continue.
Yeah.
Coming right up.
I'm doing this rap and I'm doing no care. I go hit the trap, I just doing it down. We hit with the records, I hit with the niggas. You know I do shit with the dad. Busting the block with the stars. Talking about 762 in the chopper. Cause all of my partners got certificates. This shit amazing. When I'm saying investigation. Trying to you in the investigation. Got a deuce in my pocket, I pull out a two. I'm a shooter for fuel ovation. This shit is dangerous. I got shooters to pull up and hang shit. I got weird bitches on some straight shit. Money talking, you don't speak the language. Like how with no scholarship. Niggas that can never know the damages. All the shit that we go through the challenges. All them bitches I go through the challenges. I ain't stopping for nothing. I wake up inside of the morning just checking the fallacies. I can't do no disguising. Just look at my baby boy eyes and I know what she's telling me. I came out with some bro rushing to a bust down. When the lyrics say touchdown, got the AP face crushed down. She was fronting on me, I'm a crush now. Gotta run it through all the boutiques, swiping front cars, all the sneaks, switching different bitches all through the week. Tall, small, one toys, fits all, bitch, I be fucking on all physiques. I got a dream to go to the league. If that shit don't work, I'ma go to the trap. Serving them things that go in the past. That shit don't work, then you know I'm a snap. That shit don't work, then you know that I'm back to the black hoodie with them old ladies saying what I could've been. My bucket, you know that I'm going to jack. Jacking and stealing for niggas, keep making the killing. It's no animation, shit, brothers, you making it real. When I look at my baby, my car, I know I'm making my face. I gotta keep going, I gotta do this shit for all of my brothers, my sister, my niggas, my mother, my brother. Keep coming up out of the floor, I'm zipping from all of the bitch in the hands of that bitch, and I can take it back to the days in the trap when there was only 20 cents to that bitch. I was all on my 9 to 5 working, still away about the Denny's and spending that shit in 310 right now. I was betting that bitch, jumped in the spin out and getting that rich up the money, spending it in the city, cause that shit is stuff. This shit on me steady, just trying to be warm. Shit was so money, this shit was so cold. The days when they were locked in the cell, getting peanut butter jelly. Now I'm balling, fucking me, tell me, and just a performance. Caught a million, probably up over the place. It's cool, my nigga, I get them dues on my own. I'm used to being alone. I'm used to niggas telling me I'm wrong. I'm used to proving boys and niggas wrong. I'm used to niggas telling lies, telling that slow. I'm back in my savage mode. I'm the savage, ain't no winning, ain't nothing. I look at him, see nigga ain't negative. Different numbers, busting like your legends. Even falling, it be like a tragedy. Hit your boy in the whip with a traffic. Put it fuck in the feet when I'm switching again. Get back in my mirror with a crack. Hit a button, with a stash. Just to find a nigga like to rip the car. Even that I probably never fit the bar. And I give a fuck, it's just a rental car. The toy. Keep a long way from Sin City, baby. Yeah. I ain't coming down again. The trash bag full of ones you got not again. You're so over it. But the next thing you know, you gotta go again. I ain't coming down again. She's your nothing to come out again. You're so over it. Mistakes the problem, let's not talk about it. House mom, telling everybody's business, you know, just leaving yours. You're out of time, and I know you need some YouTube just to love. She hate when niggas touch you down, I know. Back into time, keep a long way from Tennessee, yeah. Ain't coming down again. Trash bag full of ones you got nothing. You're so over it. But the next thing you know, you gotta go again. Ain't coming down again. Did you not say to the again? You're so over it. Mistakes the problem, let's not talk about it. You know what it is, you know when you come down, you know how they get, you know how they are. You ain't with these tricks, touch you, they go too far. When that almost seeing dollar starts talking, you listen, when that money falls down, you gotta get it with love, strip it, over it. But the next thing you know, you gotta go. Climbing up and coming down again. Staging out the same to come out again. You're so over it. The stage, the crowd, and let's not talk about the thing.
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be where you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's bad.
Streets waiting on me, playing for keeps, they waiting on me. All of this talk about L's and B's, and still everything they was saying was cheap. In your circle, whatever you say, niggas relate to me. I don't wanna talk about no broke boy shit, none of that shit relate to me. None of that shit relate to me. Popping on islands and touching on none of that shit relate to me. Niggas be fishing for info and all of this shit that you're talking is bait to me. Niggas and deals are waiting to leave. She give me the head, I take it to leave. Shit, the money ain't laying on trees. As soon as it falls, I'm making it leave. Making exams, they make them believe. They make them believe. They make them believe. I feel like being the great they be. Watch these little niggas making they street. None of that shit relate to me. None of that shit relate to me.
Hey, a free tour, nigga. Hey, free tour, nigga. So bad, nigga.
As the sidelines cover course tonight, so the Kings are sitting on the bench. This is the currently ground right now. Harden out there at Frazier. Then there's Chamberlain, and it's LeBron James, and Hastings in at small forward.
None of that shit relate to me. Just quit playing with playing for kids. Really stepping up, brought him. Switch when I feel like swinging.
It's James. Here's Harden in at the four-man position. Take a look at New York.
Come on, as soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. As soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. As soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. Don't you break her. Person. Back in this bitch, she waiting. Go to those. You love with this shit. Got you what they gon' be. What I mean, got it happy. That shot. Baby Joe, bring all the freeze. You know they gon' fuck. I sing all the beats. As soon as I fuck, they gon' leave. You know they gon' fuck. I sing all the beats. I'm SGA when I stand at the beat. Fucking with me, baby, good feeling. Fucking with me, then bring a friend. They can figure out this shit, but they can cover the seat. So please, as soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. As soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. As soon as I fuck, I'm making her leave. She give me the hand, take her leave. She giving me dough, she breaking her knees. Ballin' up purse, I'm fucking with cheese. I'm ballin' up what she white for money and what go. You know how I be. Where's the beef? And don't come this nigga and shit when we got it already.
Now Brady outside.
They cooking these niggas and making they bees and cooking these bitches and taking they greens and bitches and taking it. Got it for sure. Bitches and saying anything. Bitches and saying anything. I go tell the lawyer, make it a beat. No more first, I'm making it a beat. I'm about to make me a beat. I'm about to make me a beat. I'm about to make me a beat. Niggas talking, they really out spelling their songs. It's crazy to me. This shit that you think can move every day. That shit that wouldn't take me with me.
Chamberlain kicks to James. Pass to Harden. Here's Frazier. New York moving it around. Carries it from three-point range.
Those are things you love about Frazier. He's artistry.
Easy possessions like that.
That's the man you let me go. Fuck that nigga till I die. Don't take my pain. No. She's getting too weak by my side right now. I need.
Got enough opening to go for the three. I didn't think it was a bad choice.
Someone to find out, 'cause I got if I had a dollar, fuck that, be married, so I'll get married. Hey, man, niggas wanna buy for my eater. She get back with more, show me what she prefers. And it's like teaser. And I hate how you got it in you. How we go, yeah, we talking, I can say to you. But when I want, I get it vibing in the room. I feel stupid, you can see I wanna tell. Don't take my friend. Oh, this gives you it on my side. It's so hard to say that I'm not supposed to want you. So want you to find no one, 'cause I know God Lucky ass bitch. I said, screen ass nigga, run through all these screens and shit. You're not even a shooter. Damn! I need my girl. Get back. Okay. Too much bitches. They might come into me. Only one ever had a bitch body. I was taking diggies from these niggas so high. Now that you got someone that you don't, really honest girl, that nigga gon' get you home. If I say it 2 times,
it was in the air for a long time.
Oh, these niggas.
Outside Curry.
This just demonstrates how fearless Curry is. Look, he knows how to get inside and draw plenty of fouls.
On the first one. Now here's Robertson. Johnson made one yet. Back to Harden. Pass to Hastings.
Last night she gave me crap, I'm gonna hit you. Oh my God, I'm gonna see you, never got it, no. Reggie, playing heavy, he's a lion now. You're a cow clown, I never let them beat me up. In a trap, too, bitch, in a bad my city, I'm coming in, I'm looking in the trap, and that shit is coming. You might have room for fingers and all that. Next big kill come. He going back and back right here. What should you do? You make it to this bitch. Get me the bitch in the corner. She got him beating like the other first. I'm gonna take shares of me. I'm gonna take you for the first. If we're going to round with the turn, I'm gonna be going to turn. Shot at 300, they think that I'm dirty. Yeah, I'm gonna make them stop. The only shit call me a jerk. Yeah, I'm gonna come on, I'm at the state of the church. Hey, the hill was fire, the hill was demon, the take of the church. Take of the church. I'm pretty sure the niggas realize I'm gonna fall out first. I'm taking the blue money through this for 30 hours. I don't even first. You look back at the city, she fucked me for acting. Always gonna know it's a curse.
What's wrong with you, nigga? He ain't going out like that.
Nice way to end the quarter.
And so it's the New York Knicks holding on to a 3-1
Telling me get out of equation, but that just ain't in my curriculum yet. Yeah, I keep doing this number one shit in the shell. I know that's curriculum yet. Y'all on my baby, she kinda shit down from the deal. You know how we working it, bitch. I'm a guy in my city. Hey, bro, I'm a guy in my city. 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 I wanted to end it, man. It's my shooters, they know them. Real I step out the door with the niggas. 30 shots, they know them. Them niggas come, they jump out the porch. Man, I'm like, eat it, know how to suck it, fuck it, twist it, damn right. My child, bitch, man, I'm so down, she know them. Come get together. It's my team, they tell you they go outside, fuck it, it's my niggas, they stand right in front of the garage, but they try to shit down when they come. We just some niggas that made it clean, we can't even go with the condos. Because they tell us, we're telling them, moving the goalpost. That could never be your coat. That could never be so. That could never be gay and gray and nice. None of my goalposts. Oh, Cody, are you fucking dog, cuz? Come on, dude. I'm a guy in the city. Hey, no, I'm a guy in the city. I'm a guy in the city. You know, I'm a guy in the city. I'm a guy in the city. Hey, no, I'm a guy in the city. Yeah, I'm a guy in the city. I wanted to aim this man in the city. B-side, it's 90 world fucker. Yeah, hey, I cannot stop this shit. I'm getting money, I pop my shit. Haters, they just wanna stop my shit. I'm in the party, I'm with your bitch. Ain't nobody stop me. Ain't nobody stop me.
It saved me a lot of time because before, hour away is about our closest auction from here, and it would be an hour there, an hour back. On top of that, it would take 2 or 3 hours at the auction itself, where I'll do all of that whole thing in 15-20 minutes on the app, and I'll do it all here. The accuracy of the inspection is the reason why I keep going back.
What's poppin', y'all? MVP of Streamer University, suburb baby, and I will not be saying it's suburb. I will be saying it's suburb. I can't say it the other way. It's too difficult. It messes up my flow of speech. He has been suffering from success because after winning MVP, his view, well, even during the event, his views peaked at 200,000, and since then, his views have been at 60,000, 70,000 at times, despite him just being knocked out sleeping. And the first time he would address the bots would be about a week ago.
And he told me, suburb baby, why are you boxing? Why is boxing? Hold on, I don't know anybody. Something wrong. Goodbye, dude. I don't do this. And why they don't even make no money? I ain't never looked at no. If I'm being invited, it's not me. God damn. Like what? You know how bots work. Everything know someone can be bodied by someone else. I'm gonna use my energy and time to bot myself. I was at 40 Eagles for the longest. Why I'm gonna bot myself now? Like what? From being bodied.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
If your body is weird. He is correct here, and he's making some good points. The number that you see on the top right there, it's the subscriptions to his channel, which are real subscriptions, as in they are paid, or they are via Twitch Prime. If somebody has Amazon Prime, they link it, they can just subscribe to the guy. So these are real people, at least 10,000, and this is a way higher number than he had before Streamer University. I think he had some paid subscribers in the hundreds. And one of the reasons why people said he had bought-in views was because of some random extension that people just believe tells you the real views. Yeah, you just put up an extension, you put a number next to the bigger number, and that's the smaller number, and people are like, yeah, that's the real views. They don't even know how the extension works, they don't know how it's able to calculate that, any of those things. Because there are certain streamers that while they have real viewers, the chat is less active than others. Like for example, Light Reacts, he would average like 5 to 8,000 views years ago. I remember watching, I'm like, man, this chat is moving a lot slower than streamers I've seen that have 2,000, 3,000. But a lot of people will just be watching him on TV. So they're not going to be active in the chat if they're watching him on TV or something like that. So there's different types of streamers. However, one thing that cannot be fake, because some people will be the whole, no, maybe he's lying. Now you're getting into a goofy conspiracy theory thing where they're like, no, he's buying stuff from Turkey. But you would show his earnings, which is something that you cannot fake.
My chat said 40K. I'm going to show you 90K. Give me a second. I'm going to like that. I'm going to so I didn't show money that you expect.
Relax, nigga.
Ferocious dunkers we've ever
He ain't going out like that. Let's go, bro.
I wouldn't show my money. I wouldn't show you. What are you talking about? What are you $660. I don't got no money, man.
So the real number he reached was well over 100,000, 180,000 for that month. And that's the one way that you cannot fake, because Twitch is paying you for the real numbers, the revenue that you're getting. So he can't fake the revenue either, unless you're saying, like, I don't know, you're doing a workaround with Twitch, and it's just, you can't even get to that level of conspiracy theory. So he is having a humongous month, and you will have to see, because a lot of that was boosted from Streamer University, so he's probably having a lot of real viewers during Streamer University and getting paid by ads. But you could link up with somebody who's got real views and real motion, Rakai, well, they both have real views and real motion, but somebody that's actually averaging like 50K plus between YouTube and Twitch, because he multi-streams, Rakai, and they would have this conversation.
Bots. Huh?
Clinics are gone 50% before in the second quarter. 3 of 6.
So how do you talk about these lines? I don't know. Yeah, how do you start thinking I'm doing it? I don't know how to do that. And you can think like you just get it going. So both you money and how do you tell the stop? You can't tell the stop. Someone else has to stop. Like somebody higher up. We're on chat. Does that shit cost money? It does. Someone always has money. Like, they got a lot of money. Like, Trooper doesn't own this money. People didn't have money. You know, travel was crazy. Traffic change. We have no idea. What the right here? No. Cat right now. I know who's there. Where's the cat? Where's the last one? Where's the last one? I don't know, yeah. I got a couple thousand here, but I don't got no 46. Strong, how much you see out in the chat right now? Maybe like 13, maybe? You gotta be, it could be around 20. I don't know, but I know it's not 46. I know it's
when they're talking about caps of views, that is a function that Twitch has implemented recently within the past month or so, and we saw it implemented to where people's views would drop, and they would cap them at the real viewership. So you would see certain people go from 11K to 3K or 2K, and it's odd that they didn't do that for Suburb. This could mean that he was one of the biggest streamers who go up after Streamer University. And do I think Suburb Baby is the one that's botting himself? No. The reason for that being is that there is really no incentive for him to bot right now. Everyone was talking about him. He was popular on every single social media during Streamer University. So everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew he was a standout. He was by far the biggest guy there, had the biggest follower gain, which you could say, oh, well, the follower gain is bots too. I don't think so. But he had the largest follower gain by a large margin, even if you account for bots being 20 to 30% of that, which would be removed later anyway. If he was ever going to bot, it would have made sense for him to bot earlier on when he was averaging like 40 viewers. This guy was averaging 40 viewers for a month.
Challenge exists to help everyday Americans make it. If you get paid on your terms, the world opens up. And you start to find that's when you win. Now,
This is the first free throw of the game. And so Mike Brown calls a timeout. Looking for a breather
On Twitch before streaming university. And another example of somebody who came out and admitted that he was view botting in the past, which I think is very, very bad, is this guy, Brady.
I had like 40 viewers and I bought it at 50 viewers or 60 viewers that go to 100.
you bought it?
Yeah, I used to buy all my. So every time before I was first stream, so I could get partnered, I have like 40 views. And I had James bought me like 30 viewers so I could have 75 so I could get partnered.
Yeah, I respect that.
So there was one time I was streaming with a girl, I was streaming with Amena, the first time I came to LA like a year ago, and I had like 110 viewers, and we were at Chipotle and it hit the 2-hour mark, so the bots ran out and I dropped to like 40 viewers. And I ran to the bathroom, I started texting James, because we're in Chipotle, I'm like, yo, get more bots, more bots. Yeah. I haven't done it since when I started averaging like over like 100 viewers. So I probably stopped botting like last September.
I respect it, honestly, man. Most people just like holy cow.
I would never got that. You need the purple check to have aura on Twitch. You have to average 75 viewers per month. Now it's even easier. But back then, or like a year ago, you had to average 75 viewers for like 30 days straight. If my drop below 75, bro, I'm like, that's some boss.
Yeah. So this guy Braden was at Streamer University, and he was on this podcast talking about how he would view bot, because I think you need like 75. You need to have 75 concurrent viewers for an extended period of time to be able to apply for Twitch partner. He said that he view botted to be able to get Twitch partner, and then he stopped the view botting. Which, yeah, sure, we're gonna believe that you view botted back then, but not now. But Subber Baby, he didn't do that. He was averaging 40 viewers, like we said, and during that entire time, he did not bot himself. So botting yourself from 40 viewers to a couple of hundred is a massive gain compared to you botting yourself from, let's say, 4,000 to 60,000. Because at that point, it's egregious, and it's really not that much of a jump. But once you're averaging in the thousands, you're already top 0.01% of streamers, and you have a significant community, and they're recognizable. But they would eventually stop. What would actually shock me is that Brady didn't get banned for this. I'm almost certain that this is why Rice Young at one point was permanently banned on Twitch for years because he view-botted. He was originally streaming on, I believe it was MLG TV or something like that. MLG used to be this title of Major League Gaming, which is where a lot of Call of Duty competitions and things like that happen. I think they had a streaming platform. I'm not sure if Ninja was also streaming Halo on there, but that's where Rice Gun was streaming initially. And I don't know if he view-botted himself there, but you could get to view-botting on Twitch, or if you get caught view-botting, something happened with view-botting, and he got permanently banned. They had a zero tolerance policy on this. And he wouldn't get unbanned on Twitch for years after that. So it's very odd to me that this guy's openly talking about having view-botted and still isn't banned. I don't want him to be banned, but if you have view-botted or you are currently view-botting, do not ever talk about it. Do not ever admit it. Because then you're giving them the reason to ban you. But they would finally recap Subber Baby.
I thought I was so free though. How you go from 83 to 6K? If I went from yourself, because people doing it says bro only has 6,000 viewers right now. They trying to keep the shit out of you. I think that's 6. Look at the million of 6 figures. Yes, Danny. Anyways, how can I forget about
you could drop to 6,000 views, which is very, very reasonable and understand. Because you see the ratio, like you said, viewers are constantly cycling. So if he has 6,000 concurrent and he streams for 8 hours, that doesn't mean that the same 6,000 people are watching. It could be about 15,000, maybe 20,000 people that are circulating. He has access to those stats. I don't. But 6,000 adds up to the 10,000 sub mark that we're talking about. Like, for example, somebody that's really averaging 20K, they will usually have north of 50K subscribers. Like, for example, the Jinx, right? The Jinx, he averages 50,000 plus on Twitch, and he has a lot more than 50,000 subscribers on Twitch. Because like we said, the concurrent, there's a lot more viewers overall than there are concurrent viewers. So this is a real number. Now, my question is, why did they wait until now, which is a full week or more after Streamer University and after this guy's been view botted, for them to have his views like they were doing to other people? And my theory is that they let it cook because it's good press for Twitch. Because Twitch wants more people on the platform. And if the biggest guy from Streamer University, which is an event that was sponsored by Twitch, the platform, if the biggest guy is averaging 50K, 60K, 70K, and he's constantly streaming, this guy's not turning off the stream, he's a grinder, let him cook for a little bit. Let's get the press around us. Let's get more people on Twitch. Because, I mean, they're like, yo, I must be missing out on something if this guy's averaging 50K viewers. And after it ran its course and they kept talking about it, then they're like, okay, let's put this down right now. Because they've done it for far smaller streamers. So it made no sense that they would wait this long. And that's my theory on it. I think they turned a blind eye. So Twitch's golden boy, Kaisenet, and his event looks like it produced a superstar, which this guy's not a superstar yet, but he's a massive star, and he had a massive success at Streamer University, and I think he'll continue to succeed. But like we said, revenue is something that can't be fake. His revenue is real. A lot of, I would say, at least 50% of his viewers during Streamer University were real for him to get paid this much, because, hey, they might turn a blind eye and let you keep the view bots on, but they're not going to pay you for those view bots, because then they'd be losing money. So that's my little bit of a theory on why Suburb Baby was allowed to view bot for that long. I don't
back to Kevin Harlan for the start of the third quarter.
You know what I mean?
Not much, man. We got a lot of stuff to.
No.
And we're back for more exciting action from the Eastern Conference semifinals. It's been a clinic out there by James.
He's done a fantastic job of finding open space to operate within the first few quarters.
Domino's is doing 50% off each.
Most men never check if they can support their testosterone naturally first. They just all me. Look, I'm sure.
There are maybe 5 sentences in the history of this league that everybody can recite from memory. And one of them was said by a 25-year-old sitting in a director's chair at a Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. It was a quiet little room for a moment that had the entire basketball world holding its breath. Jim Gray asked him more than a dozen questions, dragging the announcement toward the half-hour mark, while close to 10 million people sat on their couches waiting for the only answer that mattered. Then LeBron finally said what everybody had tuned in to hear, that he was taking his talents to South Beach. The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your difference?
This fall, very cold. This fall, I'm going to take my time to South Beach and join Miami Heat. Miami Heat.
Then there's Frazier.
Ohio couldn't believe it. Fans burned his jersey in the street that same night. Cavaliers owner Van Gilbert posted it in an open letter in Comic Sans, calling the entire spectacle narcissistic and LeBron's departure some cowardly betrayal. And somehow, that will remain on the team right now for years.
Don't talk about Philly, bro. You out here doing all this shit, bro. Talk about Philly.
I'm thinking he's somebody else. Look at Dylan's face. He knew that this one was going viral. But here's what LeBron said following that. Dylan's good. Dylan's good. I mean, his dad is. I've heard people talk nicer about each other in OG Call of Duty lobbies. In the end, I'm not sure if these comments would have played a role in his decision, but because LeBron still ended up choosing Philadelphia, and it was clear that Brown's arrival was a major reason that Philadelphia became LeBron's choice, even after Jaylen Brown had that whole Bronny debacle. The backstory there is that Jaylen Brown was caught at a Bronny Summer League game saying that he didn't think Bronny was a pro or ready or something like that. Then, when Brown was speaking on their relationship at a later time, he said this.
I really should have been pretty respectful. Don't tell the shit he said about Bronny or something. You guys heard me about it. Other than that, we've been alright.
One thing that Bron doesn't play about is Bronny. And in this case, it wasn't the player's dad speaking on Bronny, it was the actual player. But in reality, Jaylen Brown didn't say anything at the time that everybody else wasn't saying. And Bron was smiling as he said, besides the stuff that he said, everything has been cool. I definitely should have clocked that it was all water under the bridge, but I for sure wouldn't have been surprised if Bron was that petty. I can really only fault myself in this because I should have had an idea that Bron could be headed to Philly after this man was talking about trusting the process, and had tried to save it by saying that he was saying that phrase before Joel was born. But what a few months that it has been for the 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers got rid of Daryl Morey, put Bob Myers in charge of reshaping the front office, and hired Mike Gansey to run basketball operations. From there, they attacked the offseason like a franchise that was living by Kevin Garnett's motto, anything is possible. They grabbed LeBaron Pylon with the 22nd pick after most draft experts had him as a top 20 talent. They added Dean Wade and Anthony Simons on team-friendly deals. Then they somehow turned Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 seconds into Jaylen Brown, a 29-year-old Finals MVP who is still right in the middle of his prime. Even if you completely removed LeBron signing with Philadelphia for virtually nothing, you could still say that the 76ers had one of the best off-seasons in all of basketball, and nobody would really have an argument. Again, they turned a freaking 36-year-old Paul George into Jaylen Brown, and I don't care what the analytics say. A trade like this going down is always going to be highway robbery. I will do a deeper dive into both the Jaylen Brown and Paul George soon, so make sure that you're subscribed with the notifications on so that you guys don't miss that. On paper, a core of Tyrese Maxey, DJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid already looked like an Eastern Conference powerhouse. Everything after that was just Gansey filling the cracks. And he did it by splitting a mid-level exception 2 ways, which is just a great piece of accounting. Simons walked in as instant bench scoring. He averaged better than 19 points a game in his final season in Portland, and even in a smaller role last year, he still gave Boston and Chicago 14 a night. He's the kind of guy that can run a second unit by himself for stretches. Wade.
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely until this. My hubby is ejaculating so fast, and he gets so anxious about it.
Came the other direction out of Cleveland. He's more known for his defense and his versatility. He's a big that is a great glue guy to have. Pylon is the one that I...
Can Cody Rhodes do the one thing he needs to do at SummerSlam? And Danhausen get the human money off of both. Only face turns and heel turns and no turns and no... There's nothing very exciting happening at SummerSlam. Predictions time. Starting off with the night 1 women's 6-man tag team match. Big Olympic was up against the Bellas, the Bella return, and Paige. This one I am going to go with heel top. He'll go over in this thing. Big Olympic just win those tag team titles. I don't feel that the Bellas and Paige need it. What I think is more likely, and I'm just an optimist here, that we get something of interest in the story, that Nikki turns on Paige at the end of the match. I'm kind of predicting and hoping that Paige gets rolled up again, like at Saturday night's main event, and then it results in Nikki and Primo getting frustrated, and they turn on Paige and beat her down. Now, I have heard good rumors on internet, which is a dangerous place to live, but I have heard that they're thinking of AJ Lee. I see that name come up a lot, that AJ Lee could make a return at SummerSlam post-match. The Powers are beating down Paige, and then AJ Lee's rhythm music hit, and she comes skipping her butt down the aisle, and she helped out Paige. bringing Paige and AJ, who have that dynamic relationship from their years back, when you did have Paige showing up to take the title off of AJ, they team up and they go up against the Bellas. And then they'll advertise that as like a generational match. Next match. And Matt's kind of actually excited about this. I wasn't originally, but I'm getting really
excited. Oh my lord, y'all niggas is wild.
The Bloodline going up against the hero team of LA Knight and Solo Domo. And I say that I'm really anticipating excited for this thing, and I wasn't originally because there's more Bloodline. There's more of these Bloodline things happening, but I don't really think that they're going to progress any story. And at first beginning of this whole story arc, it's very much LA Knight. Still dealing with Bloodline, he's still sick of them. And now to the culminating, I feel like they're starting to change things, and the focus is a lot more on Solo. Let me tell you, I am so excited to see if they can keep Solo the way he is as a character and give him more. The worry is that WWE sees good things with Solo like, even more now that he's getting like way more unhinged hilarious. Like they're letting him exercise and stretch out his character. And I worry that WWE will crumble and destroy it by fast-tracking him to a title, to overexposing him, and then fans get bored and silly.
Damn, I ain't let it go in time.
It's like, hey, the Geek was cool, and then it just kept going. This match, though, I'm going to say Bloodline wins. This might actually lean into my two predictions for the main event. But I think Bloodline needs to go over here. They need to win. They haven't done much of the winning. And on Raw, you did have the good guys, or the team, they were the ones standing taller than them. I don't think Royce Keys needs it. I think it's a good showing for him. LA Knight doesn't need a win, but I think the more between bigger story and maybe they should stretch the whole thing out is if the Solo turn on them and he aligns with the Bloodline. He goes back. Because he even said on Raw that he's like, this isn't a Bloodline without me. And if they can add Solo back into the mix, I really believe that they have a chance to make the Bloodline more entertaining again. Because right now, all they do week after week is they are Roman henchmen all over again, but they don't have the same like backstage dynamics. They're all like Jacob just chews out Jay once in a while, and that's kind of it. They're disgruntled and they're a little bit fussy with everything. Solo adds in this huge comedic element, and that was kind of what Sammy brought to the Bloodline and why it helped make it what it was and helped make it so special. So I'm going to say that maybe towards the end of it, or maybe even the post-match, you get Solo hitting a spike on LA Knight. It also then helps to get LA Knight versus Solo later on, because once these can go spin off and fight one-on-one with Jacob, and the Usos do whatever they do. The promos with LA Knight and Solo back and forth and trade him, I think can work. I have big high hopes for Solo, but I'm so terrified WWE will ruin it. Next match, another highly anticipated one. See, I don't think the match card's like all that bad. Like on paper, it's a good card, I think. But for this match, I'm actually very highly anticipated to see what will happen. I don't think we'll get any shenanigans out of it. And it was straight up Gunther versus Nick Aldis, one-on-one, and I'm going to say Gunther wins. He is the man beater. That's a terrible phrase. But he beats Aldis Met.
Get your hand raised like a winner with Bet365. New customers bet $10, get $150 in bonus bets.
So when I'm at grandmother's house and she has some interesting things, what is this, butter churros? Ice cream. So now I'm going to try to figure out how to use this one for my next dinner party.
Once he gets the ball in there.
And stolen by Chamberlain. LeBron James finishes off the break.
Gunther wins a lot, and so I think he's going to also be Nick Aldis. Because that story, Nick Aldis hasn't wrestled for WWE, period. He's been years he hasn't wrestled. So he should not be well equipped to take down Gunther, who just annihilates everybody and retires a bunch of people. Now, could this be the bringing back of Nick Aldis? A lot of people argue with me, and I've said this in other videos, it's like speculating that, hey, Nick Aldis goes back full time, he ends up wrestling a lot more, who can see that, or does he go back to the GM? A lot of people are saying, I probably just they're saying that,
why did you do that, bro?
And he was back to GM role. I kind of hope that's not the case. What the fuck is Adam Pearce is now general manager, and I'd love if they maybe turn Pearce heel, or you get a new GM, a Paul Heyman, somebody, a heel GM general manager, change it up, and Nick Aldis could wrestle like from time to time. Maybe it won't happen, and Aldis is SmackDown GM come next week. I'm saying Gunther goes over, he chokes out, he makes Nick Aldis pass out, which will have a lot of key moments in this match, I think, where you got the hope spots, where it's like, oh my gosh, Nick Aldis.
Real ass nigga.
I think you really need to show that. Although I'm just excited that Nick Aldis is wrestling again, which is great. Now the next match I am not too interested in. And the reason why is because build is just whatever. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I hope Io wins. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because I just don't care for Liv Morgan doing anything right now. She is like background cover. Oh my God, bro! This is story right now. She's Danhausen. Bow, bro. And she does with right. I thought the build has been very flat. I don't think it is helped that Liv has not defended the title one time since we did at WrestleMania. I think that is ridiculous. Even if it's Liv having a one-off title match on Raw sometimes, or a PLE in between SummerSlam, they could have done something. Instead of put her into Queen of the Ring, and yeah, you have Io win the thing against Liv. So we've already seen the match. There's no added stipulation. Like, if anything, Io should be running around saying, I don't want Judgment Day involved because they keep getting involved in everything they do. So you should have, like, no Judgment Day. Or, better yet, Liv says, hey, we are going to have Judgment Day ringside. Make it a lumberjack match where all of Judgment Day has to be around the ring and Io defies the odds. Something captivating and intriguing. So I'm all Io, and I want to see somebody else with the belt. I also think that, and it's not confirmed, but I think it's posted online, that Crown Jewel could be happening in early November. End of November Survivor Series. I was kind of thinking that Crown Jewel could happen in September because there's no big PLE. It could be then, maybe they'll just shove it in November before Survivor Series. Either way, if they do that, I'm kind of thinking that along the road, you get Io as champion to then go up against Rhea Ripley at Crown Jewel for the Crown Jewel Championship. Assuming Rhea is healthy and ready to go. Also, you have the interim champion right there. So Rhea comes back pretty soon. I mean, someone wins the interim belt for a month, and then they have to give it back to Rhea or they fight for it. I still think that what they would want to do is get Io versus Rhea again in a rematch. Damn, man. Neither title's on the line, only win the Crown title, and yet Io win that because Rhea has never been able to beat Io Sky, and that's a great story. And I guess more intriguing about this game. Let me get this back to Dan on this call. Hell in a Cell, Brock Lesnar versus Otis Penny. Trilogy, the final encounter, it's the final countdown, and it's gonna go with Otis. Otis gonna win this thing, he's gonna beat Brock somehow, some way. I really wish it won't happen, but I wish they would do something really cool on top of the Cell. These guys did not do that. Come on, y'all. Come on. None of that is happening. But I do expect them to at least pull out a chair and a chain and two guns. Oh my lord, how we missed that? Give us some stuff. We gotta believe. I want to see Ogo getting all bloody, Hell in a Cell. McIntyre with a tremendous story that culminated with Hell in a Cell. That one's hard to beat. This is only different. You get two monster guys inside the cell. You guys just can't go into all of you. Do you think that this was more than 6 minutes? It's a Hell in a Cell match. It does give them the idea of the cell, it gives them the opportunity to really, like, meander. They can start this thing outside of the cell, and they can brawl, and that could be like 5 minutes of back and forth, just trying to end each other. Then you get inside the cell, and again, a lot of meandering and big moves, but the Brock Lesnar feud has been nothing but destruction and quitting. I hope they utilize the cell. And I hope it's not just their window dressing. Because they're not guys that are going to climb the cell, like I said. They're not going to jump off of stuff. So they're going to stay grounded. Probably have a guy go through the table on the outside and then get brought back into the cell. I'm saying Ogo wins. Does Brock actually officially retire? Probably not. He'll probably show up again later when they want him. Which leads to night one's main event. CM Punk, your WWE champion, going up against Cody Rhodes. If we learned anything about Cody lately, we know this. Hot dogs. I like hot dogs. Darn right he likes hot dogs. This is a big question mark and what I've used the thumbnail probably for. Is Cody Rhodes going to turn heel? You guys can throw all this in the comments, please, of just what are your picks? Do you think Cody would turn heel? Is it a ridiculous idea? Do you think they would do that? Or do you think they would turn Punk heel? Do you think that they will, I'll make it even simpler, do you think that they will do something captivating and interesting in this main event? Because I feel like the build has been very middle of the road. I did not really enjoy the last promo segment. There's one more SmackDown to happen as the go home before, and I assume this one will be their brawl. We had the Roman Seth brawl fight at the end of Raw, and Punk and Cody have yet to do that. That's what this go home is probably going to do, but for how?
Oh my god, bro. What the fuck?
Here's Hastings. Kane fires. And LeBron wheels the three. Curry deciding where to go with it. Puts up the three. And here's the three.
Oh my God, bro.
Was big. I mean, it cancels out the triple at the other end, and that appears to really tighten this game up.
Now here's Harden. Jokic
That's a
pulls
foul.
it down. Oh, and he cannot get the layup. And here's James. He'll bring it up for New York. 8-point game.
Of course. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And it's Captain Clutch with
And then I do it for...
That's foul number 2 for him.
Think of a match, a WrestleMania movie match. This build has not been it, where you got, Punk hitting and flipping their belt to Cody on accident. And took the most backstage. I did like that SummerSlam thing they did for the press conference. I thought that was good. But I've always struggled with the dynamic changing character. And I don't necessarily need Cody to turn heel. I don't necessarily need Punk to turn heel. And all of a sudden become a huge bad guy. I think if one of them did, especially Cody, it needs to evolve. It needs to be a slow burn. Cody could win the belt, but goes too far. And we see over several months, Cody's character change. Versus the next week, we've got his guys hair black and, he's evil. When nobody likes to keep a character to be more bad guys, they tend, not always, they tend to slow burn and evolve him. Sam evolved his character, where he felt like he was still in the right. But over time, you could see him being frustrated and angry, and you would categorize him as like a bad guy. Kevin Owens is kind of the same thing. He's justified, even to himself, of like his actions. And Cody, I feel like they could do away with that. The Cody Rhodes heel turn is like the one big thing WWE, I feel, needs to do it. It may not happen here. It could very well just stay that this is going to be a standard one-on-one, and Punk retains. Cody shakes his hand, there's nothing else. And then they just do this match in a month. It could be just that boring and dull. Even a good wrestling match, but nothing of consequence after. If Punk wins, I need Cody to win. I need something that's going to have some impact. They need to extend the story. I think they will. I don't think this is one and done. This is probably a trilogy.
No, y'all niggas not gonna win.
And if they have a plan, it really...
Y'all niggas not even gonna make it to the finals, man.
I'm gonna say though that Punk wins. I think Punk retains, and is that the best move? I don't know. It'll be wait and see how the end of that match is. Cody could win, but if he does win, I hope it's because he went too far. He did it by nefarious means, like he really beat Punk down and shocked the audience about how far he took it, just to get that fourth championship back. That's what I want to see if Cody wins. Punk just retains and go happy, go lucky, then it's probably a dub. Then you got night 2. And that first is going to be Intercontinental Championship, Penta going up against the challenger, Chad Gable. So Chad's going to win this thing, right? It's in Minnesota. That's where Chad's from. You don't want to get the whole smacking their hands together for everybody in the arena, in the stadium. For the entrance. I think this will be a killer match in the ring. I have no doubt that I'm going to get back and forth. I hope they give it time. And I think that we'll have Chad win the Intercontinental title. I feel like that's just been his trajectory. After you know AAA, they won again there. And it's a good moment at SummerSlam. Where I give it a knock, and it's not a knock to you guys, it's not a knock to you what the match will be. It's that I haven't seen a build out of this. Backstage, promos, interviews, but nothing in ring. Nothing where I'm like itching and scratching, clawing to see this match because I want to. I'm going to. But nothing where I'm felt captivated. It's just been separate promo things and pre-fill things and whatever. But yeah, but really pay attention to Raw every week to know that this match is kind of happening. Excited for it. I think it's going to be a banger. I'm thinking Chad Gable's going to win that title. That would that title on the line. U.S. title match. Baron Corbin is challenging Trick Williams for the United States Championship. Trick Williams is going to win this thing. I think he'll have the huge grand spectacle entrance like he did at WrestleMania. Or we do that. I think Corbin is a fine, good challenger. The problem is, really, is that if you pull back a little bit, they've gone through everybody in this like mid-card U.S. title division. He's beaten Ricky Saints. He's beaten Carmelo, who's kind of disappeared. He's going through Corbin right now. I think it'll be a fine match. I just don't think it's going to be anything stellar, and you are going to have Trick go over. I originally thought, honestly, that what they would have done is some sort of celebrity match here where you would have had Trick and Gotti tagging together to go up against like Mello and somebody else. Maybe Jelly Roll. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm saying Trick goes over in this. Probably be 8 to 10 minutes, kind of like the WrestleMania match against Sammy, where it was like, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't long enough. I think Baron Corbin could bring it a little bit in the ring. The question mark is going to be, what are you going to do next with Trick? I feel like he's got no challengers. Kit Wilson's disappeared. The Miz is nowhere. Royce Keane maybe. Like, Shinsuke? There's got to be some more mid-carders that are going to feed to him. Ilya, if he ever comes back. Trick retains, and I think the crowd will go nuts because they love Trick Williams. Next up, Human Money's on a pole match. It's WCW 2000, everybody, and you have Danhausen versus Dom Mysterio, and this match will hopefully help them recover from whatever the hell that was on Raw. Seriously, why? I'm kind of torn on this, to be honest, because you probably shouldn't have Danhausen win. And correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't Danhausen won like a bunch of his matches? So I don't need Danhausen to win. He's a comedy character. And I think Judgment Day and Dom, they need a victory, and they also need to end this story. So you're going to get the kookiness and the goofiness of Danhausen. Maybe the clone machine is going to make an appearance and reveal who's in that thing. This would be the time to do it, and it better be good. But the thing I don't want from this Money's on the Pole match is 10, 12 minutes of wrestling, and then they get to the comedy stuff. And to make up for what happened on Raw, because that segment was atrocious, I think they really need to hit this. They really got to nail this whole thing, this match, and bring the comedy. Don't overdo it, but you've had some good moments with Danhausen. It's comedic relief in the wrestling show, so I'm excited to see it because it's going to be a nice little break, and it's just going to be entertaining, I hope. I think at the end, though, you get Dom to win. How do you not have Judgment Day all come out and stop Danhausen from getting the monies? But there might be a clone. There might be just more shenanigans, mini-Hausens again. As long as they come up with something new, creative,
they're going to beat this team, bro. This team,
then we might look back and say, hey, that was a fun, entertaining thing they did, segment they did match. Dom wins, which, again, it doesn't move Dom.
How the fuck I got 2 AIs?
On Raw. But I'm going to say Dom wins. Number one contendership for the WWE title. Finn Balor going up against Sami Zayn. I'm very intrigued in this match because they never do number one contenderships at PWEs. This definitely feels like it should have been on SmackDown.
I knew I was going to win a chip with this squad.
The cards balanced, so that's why we're seeing this match. But I'm all here for it. These two guys are going to put on a great match in ring. The question is going to be who wins and who's likely to win. To me, it's going to be Sami. I think it makes the most sense that Sami Zayn is going to win this thing to go on to challenge possibly Punk or new champion Cody. Either way, if Punk, Sami has the built-in story there with Punk because he lost the title to him and he didn't get his rematch until now. If it's Cody, we've seen this back and forth with Cody, and we could finally see it again, and you could still have Punk in the mix and vice versa. You'd still have Cody in the mix. I think you have a lot of story options when Sami wins this thing. If you do Finn, I just saw Balor twice against Punk. Good matches, but I'm kind of done with it. Balor versus Cody? Yeah, maybe. Something a little fresh, but I don't feel like Balor is there just yet. I'd almost rather see Balor kind of roll down and go fight Trick for the U.S. title. I'm going to say Sami wins. My only X Factor wildcard in all of this was Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae make the appearance and help Sami win, creating the Ride or Dies faction. And guess what? To make it all make sense in WWE land, they do mass hooded figure reveal, and it's Johnny Gargano. Candice slides in, they beat up Finn Balor, distract the ref, and they help Sami get that victory. So then you have more support for Sami, and maybe he kind of builds out this little faction. So going with Sami Zayn. Next up, ladder match. 5 a ladder match for the interim WWE Championship. You got Charlotte Flair, Jade, Tiffany Stratton, your U.S. champion, Chelsea Green, and mystery person right now. Because the final match is happening on SmackDown. That's between Lash and Julia. And I'm picking Lash to win that thing. Why? Because Lash heavily featured in Unreal, so they can kind of promote that a little bit in itself. I think they like Lash a lot. And Julia has been on Main Event, still fighting Kiana James. They did not push in Julia, which is real shame. Now, the only other thing I can see them doing in this match is having the involvement of Blake Monroe. She's been messing with Tiffany. She's been messing with Chelsea. She's kind of been poking everybody. Maybe she takes one of them out and takes their spots in the ladder match. Or she just gets involved in the thing and costs somebody like Chelsea Green to win the championship to set up a program. Or she goes after Tiffany because she wants the U.S. title. I could also see that. If she kind of attacks Tiffany, then you got that program set up after SummerSlam, and then Blake Monroe could actually have a match. Charlotte and Jade, I feel like they cancel each other out a little bit. I think they were probably trying to do that originally as a SummerSlam match, a one-on-one, but with Rhea getting sidelined with injury, they pivoted, and now they're both going to be in the ladder match. Tiffany, I don't see winning because she's U.S. champion. I mean, you could go with Jade, you could go with Charlotte. I think Charlotte, babyface champion, I think you could just put the interim title on her. And then you instantly get a rematch of her and Rhea when she's healthy, and you do that again. That could be one of the directions. My picks for this thing to win are Charlotte or Chelsea. I think Chelsea's doing great work. She's supremely over all the time. And even though it's an interim champion, I think that's a great way to kind of test the waters, Chelsea as WWE champion. It would be a tremendous moment for her, and it would be a short-term thing. They know they'd have a clock on this, where they know they're not going to go long-term with her. So because you're kind of in this middle ground of waiting for Rhea to come back, why not go and pull the trigger, give it to Chelsea, let her run with the belt for like 2 months, Rhea comes back, there's your match, and then you crown the definitive champion. So even with Lash in the match, assuming it's Lash and not Julia, I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Chelsea. I'm always a fan favorite of Chelsea Green. I'm going to be pulling for her in the match. I want her to win, and I think it could make sense. And then your main event. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns World Heavyweight Championship. A little torn on this. Comment below what you're thinking, guys. If you can, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our videos we do here. It's built on history. The Shield, the chair shots, all the WrestleManias. I haven't loved the build because it has just been history and some promos in the ring. There's a case for both guys to win. Seth's got his rematch for his world title. I think the way they got here, though, was a little bit messy, and they didn't need to make it that way. Because it all goes back to King of the Ring. And because they had Ova win King of the Ring because they wanted to give him that moment, that was great and made sense. However, he dropped the title opportunity just to go fight Brock. And that's where I feel like if you rewound and, redid the history of it, to me it would have been better if Brock cost Ova King of the Ring, and Seth, who was in the King of the Ring tournament, ended up winning the thing because then he just goes and fights Roman, and then here we are. Then both matches end up happening, but has a little bit more logic to it. As you could have argued also, then Seth has gone through a whole King of the Ring. He's gone through injuries. He went through an entire King of the Ring tournament, scratched and clawed, got all the way to the end, won the thing, and now he gets the shot at Roman. And Ova just fights Brock. So while Seth could win the world title, I don't really know what matchups you would have, because I think looming in the background and waiting would be Ova Femi. Maybe they'll throw other challengers in between. An LA Knight, for example. I don't think it's going to be Seth. My pick is Roman Reigns retains. Now, that does mean potentially both your main events, Night 1, Night 2, you do have the champions retain. That's why you got to have, if they are going to retain both of them, and nothing changes, then you do have to have a story beat and a character change in one of these matches. And I don't think it would be Seth and Roman. So the hope is that at SummerSlam, there's key moments, big spectacle, story progression. Something happens on both nights where you feel like they're going to be moving things forward in an interesting way. I think they need it, and Cody Rhodes could be that if you did turn him heel, but we'll see. Guys, thank you for watching predictions. Subscribe to the channel and lay your predictions in the comments below. Click here for more WWE content. Have a great day. See ya.
If LeBron joined the Philadelphia 76ers, this is the best starting five he's ever had, easily.
Breaking news, LeBron James is taking his talents to Broad Street. Entering his 24th season, LeBron...
Podcast and former ESPN contributor Pablo Torre is reporting that the Clippers circumvented the NBA salary cap by arranging a no-show job for Kawhi Leonard back in 2022.
Steve Ballmer came and had that interview with Ramona Shelburne. He had plausible deniability.
Was there an exception made in terms of our relationship with aspiration? Absolutely not.
These revelations that came out today had substantially less plausible deniability.
The vice chairman of the Clippers made an independent decision to invest in aspiration 9 days before Kawhi Leonard got paid when no one else was getting paid.
how broad do your powers extend? As far as penalties you can assess to the Clippers, to Kawhi Leonard are very broad powers in these situations.
We start our show with a developing story, which centers around one of the biggest question marks that hangs over the NBA. So we're 10 months into the investigation into Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers, and cap circumvention, and it's been a lengthy one. So what you're looking at here is just the timeline. So let's go back. September 3rd, 2025. That is when the NBA announced it would be investigating allegations of cap circumvention with the Clippers and Leonard that surrounded a sponsorship deal with the now bankrupt Green Banking Company Aspiration. Fast forward a full NBA season later, and the Clippers, they have agreed to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors. That was what Shams reported back on June 30th, but less than 2 weeks after that, the teams announced that the trade would be on hold until the league completed the investigation. And then a week after that, that is when Commissioner Adam Silver said that he wanted the investigation completed before the start of the 2026-2027 season, and that is where we begin now that we're all caught up. I'm joined by a quartet of our senior writers, Baxter Holmes, Ramona Shelburne, Mark Spears, and Vincent Goodwill. I want to start with you, Baxter, here, because you have some lengthy new reporting on up to the minute what is happening with this investigation. So let's just start there with the timeline. How much longer could this continue on?
Well, it could go well into 2027, and part of that is because if you look at the collective bargaining agreement, it basically lays out the process for this, which could include arbitration. It could also include an appeals panel. There's several different parties that are coming to the table. It's not as simple as the NBA basically finding evidence and rendering punishment or not. There's a lot of different steps that have to play out from here and there, or from now until then. And different sources I've talked to have said, given all those steps, they have a hard time seeing the full resolution being reached before the start of the season.
Okay, so if full resolution, Ramona, is not reached before the start of the season and could continue into next calendar year, does that open up the possibility that Kawhi Leonard could be on the Clippers to start the season?
Yes. I mean, it sounds crazy after a trade like this, but this was the Toronto Raptors being given a choice of, are you willing to assume the risks of something happening with Kawhi Leonard after the investigation is completed? And they are not willing to assume those risks. And so if they're not, then we get to the end of the summer and there's not a resolution here, and there's nobody from the NBA who can say with 100% certainty, right, that there won't be any fallout for Kawhi Leonard specifically. Then it's up to the Raptors. And I understand that because we just saw what happened with the Miami Heat and Terry Rozier. The NBA had an investigation. A couple of people pointed me to this very specifically. They had an investigation into Rozier. They didn't find anything. And then a year later, after the Heat had traded for him, they get stuck with a player who is now out of the league. And they given up draft compensation, right, and settled that out of court. So I can see a world in which Kawhi Leonard is back on the Clippers if this trade doesn't go through. And the Clippers, quite frankly, are fine with that. Yeah. Now, they did the trade. They like Brandon Ingram, but they like Kawhi Leonard too. This only happened because they weren't really willing to extend him.
I cannot remember a situation, Mark Spears, and you have covered the NBA much longer than I have, that has ever resulted in something quite like this. This feels very unprecedented.
Yeah, and then the guy kind of stuck in the middle of the all-star Brandon Ingram.
Sure.
And Glorilla trying to figure this out right now. Like, are we going to be in Toronto? Or are we going to be in LA? And I talked briefly with Rich Paul, and he's like, it's a business. Brandon knows it's a business. He's fine either way. He's also making $40 million.
That helps.
So this is like, a first world problem. But he said Brandon's in good headspace. Either way, I would assume he might be upset, but according to Rich, he's good.
Adam Silver's in a real trick bag here because he has to make a decision on the investigation, but also look steps ahead on what arbitration could look like if there are penalties levied on Steve Ballmer. And we know Steve Ballmer can lawyer up as well as anybody. So you have to take not just the steps of the evidence, but also protect the league and their interest in this. And this is so unprecedented, Malika and everyone else. A top 30 player, a two-time finals MVP, who's still pretty much effective, tilting the balance of possibly the Eastern Conference if he goes to Toronto or if he stays with the Clippers.
The thing that I would emphasize here is the seriousness of the charge of salary cap circumvention. Okay. I think some people might hear that and think that this is not that big of a deal, but the salary cap is really what governs competitive balance and fairness across the league. It's as serious as a charge as you can levy against an NBA team. So the NBA is going to look at this very carefully because that's not something that it's not a parking ticket.
Yeah.
You can't just approach that kind of gingerly. Mm-hmm. And the Clippers are certainly, they've maintained their innocence from the very beginning that they did not funnel money to Kawhi Leonard through aspiration. And sources I've talked to have said they're motivated to clear their name however long this takes.
Okay, and by the way, this timeline isn't necessarily determined by the NBA. It's determined by how long it takes to gather the evidence that the outside law firm deems appropriate to see this to completion, right, Ramona? That's what we're looking at here.
Well, if you're the NBA and you've taken this long, you need to get it right because there's a legal challenge that the Clippers can have, but also the rest of the league, which is what back to his point. The rest of the league is going to want to see this report. One way or the other, they're going to want to read it. But does Steve Ballmer want them to see the rest? These are all things that are going to need to be arbitrated or at least discussed between the league and the Clippers before we even get to a resolution of whether or not Kawhi Leonard has any penalties on it.
Right, and this is something that's really chewy. There's a lot of very dense information here that we're working our way through, and I understand that it's the middle of July, but at the end of the day, why we started our show here is because there is a real possibility that Kawhi Leonard and the trade with the Toronto Raptors, that is completely in flux, and it may not go through.
Introducing QuickBooks with Intuit Intelligence. Ask questions to get instant answers and real-time insights that can grow your business. Whatever's holding you back, outdo it with Intuit QuickBooks.
Trying snacks from GoPuff. I'm at work and my day gets so busy I don't always have time to run out for snacks. So I love using GoPuff. It's an app that delivers everything from everyday essentials to fun, viral, and international snacks as fast as 15 minutes with no markups on their products, so getting delivery isn't expensive. I found these vintage Cola Fruit Riot Ollie Pop candy-coated cherries. I love the candy coating on these. And then I found this mango chamoy cotton candy.
You've played in the NBA. You've analyzed it for many years. I've never seen something quite like this. How could this process, then the way it plays out, maybe shape the way that this season starts?
Well, look, let me say this. If I'm the Toronto Raptors, I'm finding a way to get up out of this deal. I'm finding a way to back out. I want out. I don't want to even be involved with this no more. I don't even want to think about having Kawhi Leonard in the uniform because now all of a sudden, say if this lingers on and they get closer to the season, and I understand Rich Paul is talking about Brandon Ingram understands it's a business, but we're talking about real human beings here. We're talking about Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick, who was a crucial part of the Raptors' success last year as far as them being relevant again and making it to the postseason. If I'm the Raptors, I want to call this trade off. I want to call my two key rotation guys back in, and I want to start healing those wounds right now so that when I get to training camp, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to worry about if a guy's going to be disgruntled. We saw the effect when it happened to Dalton Connect with the Los Angeles Lakers. He wasn't right when he hasn't been right since.
Right. So we have four of the most plugged in reporters on the NBA. Has anyone heard anything to that effect that the Raptors, is there a timeline here that the Raptors are going to say, no, we are out, this can't continue into the season? Because it's not the NBA that's going to say that. It would have to be one of the teams. Has anyone heard anything to that effect?
I haven't heard them trying to back out. I think the discussion is more of a league-wide discussion, which is when you have a trade that gets held up, whether it's a failed physical or something like this, you can modify the trade.
So let me ask you this then. If you are Mark Spears, the Golden State Warriors, or the Miami Heat, or one of these teams that did not get LeBron James, would you be willing, if this trade doesn't go through, to say, you know what, we would be willing to take that risk?
Brandon Ingram is a very impressive scorer. You put him next to Steph, you put him next to Giannis. If I'm a team, maybe you call.
He's back in Toronto. Would you be willing to make?
No, what I'm saying.
Would you be willing to call the Clippers
absolutely not.
and say, "Hey, I will take this deal"?
I think you explore it. I think if you're one of these other teams who came away empty in the offseason and you didn't get LeBron James, think about the Detroit Pistons. They have all these salary cap exceptions that they can make, and they struck out in free agency.
I think it's too much risk.
The question is, if the risk is there, does that mitigate what the trade value is? Can you get Kawhi at a lower price? Because think about The Clippers have gone full in on going young.
Yeah, but in which case, why would the Clippers deal him if the price is that much lower? You just wait for resolution and
Right, but if you get
revisit at the trade deadline.
he comes back
You
to
explore
the
it.
Sure. And he comes back to the Clippers perk. Let's say you get a resolution, he comes back to the Clippers. The Clippers then have to face the question of, do you want to play someone who's had injuries over the years? And then that could be another risk that you're taking a look at.
Yeah, and then you would try to find a new home for him up until the trade deadline. Think about it, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy that the reason that Kawhi Leonard, one of the reasons that they want to trade him is because they don't want to give him a contract extension. Well, if I'm Golden State, I'm actually hoping this deal does get called off and I get to monitor this situation, because if Kawhi Leonard goes back to the Clippers, if I'm Golden State, then I'm picking up the phone and I'm seeing what's up with Kawhi Leonard, because Golden State don't have time to waste. Like, Steph Curry is 39 years old. Steph Curry played at an all-NBA level last year when he was available. Steph Curry needs another dude on the side of him. We don't know what Jimmy Butler is going to look like. So, again, it's an investigation. I feel like they should hurry up, but I know it's a lot of things, a lot of T's that has to be crossed, a lot of I's that has to be dotted. And Benny said it best. We're talking about Steve Ballmer, one of the richest men in America. You know what I mean? So when it comes to getting a lawyer to fight against anybody, I know he's prepared.
I think that the NBA very much wants to get this right. And I think there's a lot of attention on it, and they can look at, does the NBA want to do this? Do they want to start, they want to go. I think the NBA wants to get this right. People have said to me all throughout that Adam Silver has forecast that in all his comments about how the burden of proof is on the league, that we're going to follow the facts. They want to be thorough so that at the end of the day, this process can look fair, transparent, accurate, and that everybody can feel at peace with what happened.
And ultimately, as basketball fans, right, we can sit up here and talk about the trade implications, but as you said, cap circumventing that fairness is the jewel of the league and where everything sits. So just to add another wrinkle, the league decided that they were going to schedule the Clippers Raptors to meet in a preseason game in Vancouver, because that's, close for everybody. That's October 10th. It's a part of the NBA's Canada Game Series, so we'll see if this is resolved before then. Baxter, thank you very much for that reporting. Let's check in on some other storylines that we've been following around the league. It's time for some full-court press, and we're going to start with Karl Anthony Towns, because he does have 2 years left on his current contract with New York. He is eligible to extend for 4 years, $272 million. Vince, what are you hearing on if he may sign that?
Well, go back to during the season when Karl Anthony Towns wanted an extension from the Knicks. The Knicks did not offer him one. He was disappointed, but he said he wants to be a Knick for life. He said, these are the things that handle themselves in the offseason as long as I handle myself on the floor. The Knicks won the championship. Karl Anthony Towns was the hub. He's expecting some resolution to that soon.
Well, the Detroit Pistons are hoping to play spoiler to the New York Knicks. And in Detroit, Jalen Duren remains a restricted free agent. Mark, you talked with his now former teammate Isaiah Stewart yesterday on what Duren's thinking. What'd you learn?
Isaiah really feels like he proved that he deserved a contract. He made an all-star, and I think a lot of times teams shouldn't look so much as the postseason. You got to look at the whole body of work. And Isaiah says that Jalen believes he proved no matter what happened in the playoffs that he's just deserving of this money.
Yeah, and Shams has just reported that they're far apart on what that money should look like, not an extension at all. Sticking in the East, where there's been a lot of news, to Cleveland, that's where James Harden remains unsigned after opting out of his contract with the Cavaliers. So, Ramona, what's the latest? When are we going to see the former MVP put some pen to paper?
Well, I think that could happen relatively soon. The question is going to be, is it a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal? What the structure looks like is going to determine what the money looks like. But the Cavs are still poking around with a big Watson, and I think that's why James has given them a lot of room to negotiate.
The Cavaliers, they know that they need to continue the work to improve if they want to get past where they did last year.
These features from Robinhood Gold are too good not to share. Get a 3.35% APY with Robinhood Gold, and you can get up to $210 match on your eligible contributions into your IRA. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to maximize your money's potential for just $5 a month. Sign up now and get the first 30 days free.
Playoffs. Keep fucking around, man.
Make some cash. Do some good. Earn up to $40 per hour
now
donating
picking all
plasma.
these teams.
Easy and quick donations that earn you money. and positively impact your community. Take our quick quiz to see if you're eligible.
Got more L's than law, god damn. Okay, I got going. Alright, that should be good.
We are no longer 17 Warriors dominating the league.
The Warriors going to come up short, and questions abound. So what's next?
We are a fading dynasty. We're on the backside of the slope, but we still have potential.
Damn, 2 L's off
In
rip.
a position of where we can go back to the drawing board this summer and come back next year and whoop up on some people. That's the goal. That would be the plan.
I think we can reshape the narrative, but we have to get back to the basics of what makes a good basketball team. Be a busy summer for the Warriors.
So that was Steph after losing the playing game against the Suns last season. And since then, Golden State has yet to actually make a move this offseason. There have been about 80 players that have switched teams. The Warriors are one of only a handful of teams that haven't added any new players to bolster their veteran lineup, of course, outside of the draft. Now on ESPN.com, our Warriors reporter Anthony Slater, he went into detail on the franchise standing pat after failing to land LeBron James. So let's dive into exactly what went into that with Anthony Slater, who joins us now. Slater, the Warriors, they kind of put all their eggs into the LeBron James basket, or that's what it seemed like from the outside. But internally, it felt as if they were not maybe serious contenders. You spoke with Steve Kerr about that. What did he have to say?
Yeah, look, there was pessimism throughout the organization in the last, I'd say, a couple of weeks prior to LeBron James making the decision. You mentioned the Steve Kerr quote. It's right here where he said, I didn't even realistically think we were in the running for LeBron. It's just that everyone kept saying we were. It never seemed serious to me, despite all the reports. And the reality is, while we were all looking for signs and hints about where LeBron was going, the Warriors were getting their own signs and hints. And there was a lack of communication. Shams reported that, LeBron in the late stages talked to Nick Nurse, because that's an important conversation. Steve Kerr never talked to LeBron James in this process, so that's a hint. And then Draymond Green's on vacation and getting intel and basically working as a leg of the front office. His contract was related to if LeBron was coming or not. He's feeding them back pessimism, which we've talked about since. So they didn't hold up any business for LeBron. They re-signed Porzingis, re-signed Horford, chose Melton.